This channel's definition of a warrior of war is any man who in the face of extreme adversity and risk still chooses to put a cause, belief, or the lives of others over his own self-interest. These are the men who put their gifts of intelligence, perseverance, and strength to honorable use. And today, our first warrior of war in this series is Edward A. Carter. When Edward A. Carter, affectionately known as Eddie Carter, drew his first breath and was cast upon this turbulent world in 1916, his destiny as a warrior was seemingly written in stone. The son of missionaries, his parents relocated to Shanghai from Los Angeles, and at the age of 15, Eddie decided it was in his blood to fight, so he ended up running away from home and joining the nationalist Chinese army. Incredibly, Eddie achieved the rank of lieutenant before his superiors realized he was underage and sent him home. Despite this, Eddie Carter still retained a deep, burning desire to fight and learn as much as he could about the military and foreign affairs, which thus pushed him to enroll at the Shanghai Military School as soon as he could, where he perfected his Chinese, Hindi, and German. After his military training, Carter forged his own path and traveled to Europe to fight against fascism in the Spanish Civil War, joining up with the American volunteer unit known as the Abraham Lincoln Brigade. This further complemented his prior military training and experience in China, and when he eventually returned to the US in 1940 and enlisted in the army to fight against the Germans, he was pretty pissed off to find out that the army didn't think black soldiers were fit to fight on the front lines, and he was instead assigned the role of a cook. Although he resented this fact, Carter knew how to play the game and he simply bided his time. He rose to the rank of staff sergeant within a year of his role in the rear. However, when the US Army finally got desperate enough to allow black troops on the front lines and started accepting volunteers, he had to revoke his rank as no black man could outrank a white man. He happily did this and was just happy to be out on the front lines with his brothers. In 1945, he was eventually assigned to the 12th Armored Division, where Company Captain Floyd Vanderhoff recognized his impressive military background and made him an infantry squad leader among his black brothers. It was on March 23rd of 1945 where all of Carter's grit, determination, military awareness, intelligence, and most importantly, warrior spirit all came together. Whilst on their way to the town of Speyer in Germany, the fighting had understandably become a lot more intense and the Germans had a fervor of battle that stemmed from wanting to defend their homeland. As their convoy was nearing the town, it came under heavy fire from German gunners and artillery, who mind you were dug in, with the only way to get to them being to cross an open field. Eddie Carter being Eddie Carter, he volunteered to lead 3 other heroic men on a seemingly suicidal mission to cross that field and take out the gunners. They charged across this open field and 2 of the 4 were killed immediately, with the 3rd being seriously wounded. Despite these overwhelming odds, Carter continued on his own, drawing fire from 8 Germans. Incredibly, he was shot a total of 5 times, however he still managed to kill 6 out of the 8 Germans and capture the other 2, using them as human shields to navigate away from the rest of the Germans dug in the position. As he was losing blood and his body riddled with shrapnel, Carter still had the presence of mind to interrogate the 2 Germans in their own language and get back to the safety of his troop. Before passing out, he gave the officer nearby all the information he had gleaned and thus allowed the Americans to continue their advance with the forward knowledge of where the Germans were dug in along the road. Although Eddie Carter fulfilled the criteria and some for the Medal of Honor, due to the racial tensions in the US at the time of World War II, no black man received it, and instead, at the insistence of his commanding officers, he was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross instead, the country's 2nd highest military honor. Eddie Carter, only a few weeks out from his massive injuries, went AWOL from the hospital to finish the war with the rest of his unit, and after performing some of the most heroic feats of World War II, he humbly and quietly returned home to California in 1946, where he re-enlisted in the army for 3 years until the Red Scare in the US forced him out due to his exposure to communism in Spain and China. The former soldier spent the rest of his days working in a vehicle tire business and running his family before he died from lung cancer in 1963. It was an entire 3 decades later before the true value of his actions were acknowledged and he finally was awarded the Medal of Honor. Regardless of race, color, creed or religion, Eddie Carter was the definition of a man. His thirst for learning never faltered, his courage in the face of adversity never wavered, and he believed in a higher purpose than himself. In saying that, I think any self-respecting person should honor this man's legacy. Thank you, Eddie Carter. Your sacrifice will never be forgotten. And on that relatively somber note, we're going to end the video. And as per usual, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. So this was, of course, about the hero Edward A. Carter. Let me know if you have any ideas for other members of our new series, The Warriors of War. So I'm always interested in hearing your guys' opinions. Let me know any other heroic men or women that stand out to you, whether it be World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, doesn't really matter. Just something that shows them to be an absolute warrior. Just before you go, guys, as per usual, if you do want to help support the channel, then please do check out the Patreon, as we are demonetized a lot of the time. But I won't bore you with that. The option's there, the link is in the description below. And as per usual, thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new.